Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. Well, I wanted to do this thing live for you as it happens so that you see exactly what's happening. Now you guys know from my review, hopefully if you've seen that one on the iPad Air 4, we had a problem with OnSong, which is a program I use for lyrics. Many musicians, hundreds of thousands of us, use this program because it's awesome, it's powerful, and does stuff that others just don't do. Going from the iPad 7th gen, I can just plug and go, and I always have, and that's it, and poof, it's on the screen. And no hassles. With the 4th gen, I'm having nothing but heartache. Now, there is a difference, of course, that is a major difference between the 7th, 8th gen, and of course our iPad Air 4, and that major difference is a Type-C port. Now, they both run the same iOS 14.4, which is the latest that's out, okay? When I got my iPad, it came with version 14 something, and I upgraded it to the next level up, and it's been upgrading ever since to 14.4. And going out to the monitor, it's as simple as just hook up your dongle, turn on the power on your monitor, fire up your iPad. Hopefully get into your iPad without having, there we go. Now I don't have to type in the code off screen. So I'm into my iPad now, and as you can see, it's on screen. Voila! It did that before, right? What wouldn't happen before was when I fired up OnSong. Now I had a lot of programs in this thing that I have to now redo everything. But I'm going to tell you a story before I show you the results and walk you through on how to fix it. So I called Apple this morning, I talked to a tech there, and she wasn't all that helpful. And all she does is send me an email and thank you for contacting support. It's like she really didn't want to deal with it, or she didn't know how to deal with it, so I asked for somebody who actually knew what the heck they were talking about. So I got turned over to a head supervisory tech person, and this lady was actually somewhat helpful to a degree. She understands that yes, we don't get a full screen, and yes, technically we should, because our phones can produce, some of our phones can actually produce a full screen, and we do get a fuller screen on the 7th gen as opposed to the Air 4 on a 27-inch display. But anyways, so I walked her through my problem with OnSong, and I said, look, even OnSong is not that helpful, at least not at the time. So she says, delete the program, reinstall it, start over. And I'm like, oh great, then I got to redo my database and everything. It's like, oh. Anyways, at least it's backed up in Dropbox. So, alright, we'll do that. That didn't fix the problem though. I've never changed any settings on the 7th gen or any other iPad I've used OnSong with. I've never changed a setting for anything with video or none of that, okay? Because I generally didn't do it on an external display. I never had one until the last while, right? And even the first time I hooked up the 7th gen to my LG screen, this one or my 32-inch LG, you just plug, go, and it's there. I plug this thing, it goes this far, it works with all the programs except for OnSong. It would fire up and it would put the title down in the lower corner and everything's black. But I did get an immediate flicker of the lyrics. And she says, well, reinstall it. So I did. Didn't work. So the only other thing she could think of, which, I mean, Apple, let me tell you something. I mean, I've been a tech since 1990 as well. Okay, I've been certified tech since 1990. Even I don't know everything, and they don't know everything. But sometimes when you get two brains talking together, you actually figure something out together, which sometimes really does help. And her suggestion was, did I do a fresh install of the OS when I got my iPad a couple weeks ago? I said no. I said it had the hola, and I signed in, set it up as a new iPad, went on my way, did my thing. I've done my updates, I've done my program, and it's the first time I tried to use OnSong on an external screen. That's when all this heartache started. She says, well, she says, it could have been something wrong with the OS. It's possible, you know, because I did go through the steps, everything that OnSong has, did it all, which I'm going to show you guys, and it still didn't work. So she's like, well, restore your iPad to factory. And then this way, a full-out clean 14.4 goes in. Okay? Shouldn't make that much difference. But you never know. It's worth a shot, right? So I proceed to destroy all my data, wipe it out clean, reinitialize, redo it from scratch, fire in OnSong. Okay, the only apps I have in here is exactly what Apple is going to give you on your reload. Okay, which is different than what you get right from the factory. So if I want GarageBand and a few other apps back, well, I got to do some downloading. But I don't really care about those apps, so away we go. So anyway, I did this. It's got 14.4. I fired up, same darn problem. Okay, so now we go into OnSong, guys. Now you are going to see that it is now actually working perfectly fine. Holy cow. I can take any song I want and it's going to be there. It's going to do its thing. I am so happy. I could not be feeling better. Now my reason too for wanting to go to an external display for me anyways is I want to sit in my studio and I don't want to have to haul up my music stand and stick my iPad on it and read lyrics and play, right? I want to just sit back, 5 or 6 or 7 feet and read it off the screen. Way I go, and that's kind of like my purpose for OnSong going to the screen. But how did we do this? Well, you're going to follow everything OnSong tells you, and it's likely not going to work if you went from an older version OS and you've just been update, update, update. It might not work for you to do this, so you may have to reinstall the OS because it turned out I did. So we're going to go to Settings. And we're going to go to Live Settings. External Video. Now, you'll have some choices here. If you are going to project from your iPad to a projector, okay, which churches have projectors, right? They're up on the ceiling or somewhere. Projects the lyrics on a screen for your congregation to sing along with, okay? You can use that feature. Or you have a stage monitor thing that you could also access too. And all of this is all defaulted stuff, right? It's like, okay, fine, so we got that fine. Else, lyrics projector. Make sure all this is set up fine. But, screen mirroring, that's the big thing here. Screen mirroring was turned off. Now, I did turn it on, I did do the restart procedure, as they tell you, and this did not work at all on this iPad. Now I'm being really long about this video specific for a very good reason because I really need you guys to understand there is big differences here which you're about to see live yourself. So I now have reloaded my OS, I've re-downloaded OnSong, restored my database, I turned this on, I said done, it said to restart the program. It doesn't mean that you swipe and then reboot because you're back at the same screen. So we're going to click done. We're going to swipe out and we're going to literally, and this is what it means, take this and close it is what you have to do. You have to actually close out the app, which is what OnSong will tell you too. There will be a link in the video description, by the way, to the link for troubleshooting and for setting this up in multiple different ways for projectors, this, and that, and the other thing, okay? But now you can see it works, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. We're good and happy to go. Now, comes where the difference is between two different machines, and it shouldn't be any different. And she agrees, okay, the secondary supervisor tech, she agrees that if I was able to just plug into this one, it should not be a problem. Just plug and go into this one and it does this. Magically it's there. Okay, so unplug the HDMI. We're going to unplug this and we are going to get out of here and we're going to close this thing right off. Come on. And I'm going to put this back on the charger anyhow. So now we're going to take my iPad, 7th gen, slammer dammer. Now, on the iPad, with my present connector, you actually have to have the power plugged into here in order to power the HDMI bus. Why, we don't know. There are some adapters out there where you don't have to, but this does not, by the way, charge your tablet at the same time. It's just for powering the HDMI. So now we're going to plug in, turn things on. Now, you remember just a second ago we saw that that iOS thing for screen mirroring had to be activated, and it was activated. Okay? Now, watch this. OnSong. On a 7th gen, running the exact same version of the iOS 14.4, it's there. Now, we're going to go to Settings. Okay? Live Settings, External Video. What do you see that's not turned on here? Screen mirroring for iOS is not active, yet we got the screen. On the 4th gen, we had to actually make sure that screen mirroring iOS was active. Then we had to click Done, we had to quit, and then we had to swipe Close to make sure the program was quit out of the system and relaunch, and we were fine. This, it was just a plug and go. I've never altered the settings in any iPad before, ever. Okay? None of my iPads. And I've had the Air 2, I've had a couple of them actually. As you guys will know from my YouTube channel, I've had a few of them. And of course I have the 7th gen, I have this. You know, no big deal, right? Voila! We're good to go. And this is not even turned on the iPad 7th gen. So, what's the big difference here? We have a Lightning port versus a Type-C. Now, we probably did have some corruption in the operating system because it's update, update, update. That is entirely probable because that's the only explanation I can come up with. That it was something with the OS, which is something that she trigged me on to, that maybe it's because the OS had a problem right from the factory on the factory load. So restoring the iPad, downloading a raw version of 14.4 instead of upgrading upward scale is what it needed to fix the problem, except we still have a problem because the iPad Air 4, we have to activate screen mirroring iOS. Technically, by all rights, under the laws of physics and nature, if you were to compare the two, this iPad should not be projecting my lyrics on the screen right now because that feature is not turned on. And OnSong will tell you that this feature has to be turned on to do the screen mirroring. Apparently it doesn't on this iPad. So if you do run into this problem, you now know, guys, exactly how you're going to fix it. Okay, we'll go to that other song, Your Grace Is Enough. It's there too, you know, we can just do our thing. Ta-da! You know, I can go to any song I want. It's all there. They're all there. Piece of cake. No problem. Easy peasy. We're fixed. So, that is how you fix the problem. So now I could, well, I will be doing an update review on the iPad Air anyways, but I got to load more programs back into the sucker because now I've had to wipe it naked. Like this iPad is loaded with everything I need and then some. So now I got to load that one up because I want to have one as a backup, but also one as a stationary system for other things. So I got some pile of downloading I'm going to have to do from the App Store for some stuff. But either way, problem solved, and we know how to do it now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, got a lot out of it, learned a lot. I know I certainly learned a lot today, and it was nice having another technician online to rack brains back and forth and think, well, maybe the OS was the problem from the get-go. And you know, I think there's a lot to be said about that because Apple computers are not any more immune to the problems, right? My iMac here came with Catalina. I reloaded it clean when I got it from the new owner, put on Catalina. Then of course Big Sur did its thing, and Big Sur became a massive chunk of my hard drive gone, right? Well, I've reloaded it since, right off the internet copy of Big Sur, and I'm not even chewing up anywhere near the space with Big Sur that I did from going as an update from Catalina to Big Sur. And now Big Sur has another update out too today that I downloaded. Yet again, we have more and more updates. It's like another 3 gigs, 4 gigs. But hey, you got to keep your stuff up to date. Anyhow, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel and click that bell for notifications. And we'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. See ya!